Hey everyone, Mr. Mase here. This is Barcelona-Catalunya GP with the Subaru WRX, and let's get this started by mentioning that all-wheel drive cars like the Subaru WRX and the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo can really take advantage of the curves at the final chicane, which is going to be one of the reasons why they're going to be so good here. But anyways, we're on the racing hard tires. Brake balance is at +1 or 1 to the rear. Bring yourself towards the left, and your first braking point is before you reach this light that is before the 100-meter board. Brake as much as you can in a straight line. Slowly ease off of the brakes as you turn in, and try to get on the throttle as soon as you can. Then lift off of the throttle as you make this right turn. And you want to look for this orange barrier that is on the other side of the track, as that is your cue to start to fully accelerate. Just try to keep a nice and tight turn so you don't go off too wide and end up costing you a bit of time. Brake before you reach the bridge that is just up ahead. Brake hard for a short while. Slowly ease off of the brakes as you turn in. And I use these billboard signs on the other side of the track as my cue to start to fully accelerate. Just try to keep it nice and tight through this turn to try to reduce the amount of distance that you're going. Then brake before the wall on the left ends. Brake just a little bit sooner than I do so you don't end up overshooting the turn. You just want to ease off of the brakes and get on the throttle as soon as you can, especially in an all-wheel drive car like the WRX. When the curb on the right starts, that's where you start to brake. Brake hard for a short moment. Slowly ease off of the brakes as you turn in, but quickly get on the throttle. Then bring yourself towards the left. When the curb on the left ends, this is where you just want to lift off of the throttle. You can use just a tiny bit of braking if you need a very quick fine-tuned adjustment, but you don't want to use the brakes for too long or for too much. Bring yourself towards the right. You're going to brake when you're about to reach the digital flag that is on the right. Brake hard for a while. Slowly ease off of the brakes as you turn in. And once again, when you start to fully accelerate, you want to do it pretty quickly. As you make this right turn, this is where you want to start to use some of your braking power. We're talking around 35 to 40% braking power. Just slowly trying to slow down while still having the ability to turn. When you reach this curb on the right, that is your cue to start to fully accelerate. Before the curb on the left ends, this is where you want to start to slow down, so brake hard for a short moment. Ease off of the brakes as you turn in, taking advantage of the curbs. Try to bring yourself towards the right, and you're braking before you go under the GT Sports sign. You'll need to do a lot of trail braking as you go through the final chicane. If you're in an all-wheel drive car, you can take advantage of the curves by just completely running over them, as these cars are pretty stable. And finally, take the last turn flat out. So yeah, that last chicane, that pretty much determines the fate of your lap, and you pretty much need to completely cheese it. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the race strategies. So for this race, we are doing 10 laps at Catalunya GP with the Group 4 cars. We're only on the racing hard tires, so there's no tire requirement. So fuel is a ×1, so fuel is not an issue at all. Tire wear is a ×2. Once again, we're on the racing hard tires, so tire wear is not an issue at all. Not even for the all-wheel drives, not even for the front-wheel drives. So you may think that this is a zero stop, but nope. There is a mandatory pit stop that you must do, so you do need to pit one time to make sure that you don't get a 1-minute penalty after the race ends. And because we're on the racing hard tires, don't forget that your tires are going to be cold, so just drive a little more carefully during your first 1 to 2 laps as your tires try to warm up, because at the start of the race, there's not going to be that much grip. You can see me just struggling a bit because of the cold tires. When to pit is going to depend on where you're starting and what's going on around you. If you're starting in the very front of the pack, you can wait until the end of lap 9 before you enter the pit stop. Or if you are starting towards the back of the pack, you can pit as early as the end of lap 1, get the pit stop out of the way so you can focus on your driving for the next 9 laps. And this will be pretty useful for going for the mega undercuts because you already got your pit stop done. Chances are others may not have done their pit stop yet, so especially if everyone is going to wait until later on to pit, they may end up getting into long battles. Meanwhile, you're about 20 seconds back just having a nice little drive, and you don't have to worry about battling with anyone. So if they start to battle it out, you're basically going to be at an advantage because the moment they pit, you may be able to get the advantage and actually end up passing them as they're exiting the pit stop because they decided to fight it out to the death while you were just having a nice little drive, not having to deal with anyone. You'll also want to be aware of who around you is pitting. So let's say you're at the end of lap 1 and for some reason everyone decided to go to the pit stop. You can just decide, you know what, I don't want to pit with them. I'm going to wait another lap or a couple more laps before I go to the pit stop, because if everyone is pitting together at the end of lap 1 as an example, they're still going to have to come out of the pit stops with each other and they risk getting into a lot of battles. So pretty much you just want to be in as few battles as possible so you don't end up wasting time. But anyways, for those who don't know where the pit stop entry is, it is just after the final chicane. So as you complete the final chicane, bring yourself all the way to the right. You'll see me do that just now. Just bring yourself all the way to the right. Do a little lift off of the throttle so you don't end up hitting the wall, and you enter the pit stop. Because the tire wear is so low and the fuel consumption rate is so low, you don't need to go for a tire change or refuel, so you're pretty much just doing a stop and go. So you're going to wait about 10 trillion years because it takes about that long to enter the pit stop. Your pit loss is about 27 seconds, so this is a really long pit stop and you kind of feel it as you wait around for your car to appear. There we go. No tires, no fuel, and off you go. Yeah, it's a bit silly that we have to do this mandatory pit stop, but oh well. GT Sport has us doing this, so I guess we got to do it. In terms of go-to cars, for me, it's going to be the Subaru WRX and the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo Group 4. These are really good handling cars and they can easily take on the final chicane. If all drive cars are not your thing, you can definitely take a look at the Renault Megane Trophy. That's the MR version, not the FF one. But anyways, this is going to be a 19.5-minute race, so kind of closer to your typical daily race C. And in a moment, you're going to see some people that did not get the memo about having to do a required pit stop because, oh boy, 6 people did not do the pit stop. So please don't be one of them. Do your required pit stop so you don't get bonked by the game. But anyways, that's going to be it for this guide. Make sure you do your pit stop. And that's all for me. So thank you guys for the support. Thank you to Playseat for supporting the channel. This is Mr. MCA wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.